blessed people, welcome to Sediast Experience, where we feel like stars. As usual, my name is Barry Anseda, and I'm privileged to be your host. Today, we are having a guest. She has been my friend for a while. We interacted sometimes back. I would like her to introduce herself for you to know tukuna nani katika jengo.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here this evening. Thank you for inviting me. Such a nice place here.
Thank you.
So my name is Diana Halumba. I'm a fourth year student here at Kenyatta University. I'm a last born in a family of
Oh,
seven.
you are a last born.
Yeah, I'm privileged to be a last born in
Wow.
a family of seven.
But you don't have qualities of a last born.
Maybe they're there. It's just maybe how interactions come at different times. Yeah, so actually my first time meeting Berian was when I was in my third year. He helped me create a mix for my class. I had a dance class and I needed a mix for my practical. So that was the first time we interacted. And from there on, we've been the CU, the Christian Union, together. And I'm glad that he has also invited me to share in his space this evening and here in this podcast.
I know some of you doesn't know her. She's one of the best entrepreneurs in Kenyatta University. She's a flamboyant business guru. So, yes, Kalumba is one of the best entrepreneurs in this institution, like we have said. So, Kalumba, I would like you to tell us how you started this, your brand, how you have developed, the challenges that you have faced. Yeah, because we are in a learning process and someone will benefit from this. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I could just give a small setback of how I came to campus. It was quite interesting, actually. Being a last born, everybody thought like, utapotea, acha tukupeleke shule. So everybody is ready to take you to school, from my sisters to my brothers to everyone. So I happened to get a hostel at Nyayo.
Nyayo.
Yeah,
Okay.
Nyayo. So when I get to Nyayo, I'm looking forward to staying in a single room. But unfortunately, I get to stay in a common room whereby it hosted around 12 of us. So, yeah, I know some people will be wondering, 12, is it a high school? It's not a high school, it's just here
You
in
are 12
campus.
in a room.
Yeah, you get to a place, you're 12 in a room.
So you are more than the football players inside the pitch. Because wanakwanga watu wangapi? There are 11 players.
11 players.
11 players. But
Yeah.
in your case, you are 12 people.
Imagine.
That one was a club.
Actually, I was like, this is even worse than my high school, because in my high school, we were only around 6 of us.
You know, I stayed in Nyayo, and Nyayo is very smart.
Yeah,
the place is trouble making. The rooms are well furnished.
Very well furnished.
Yeah, but the problem is that some rooms wanaweka watu wengi sana. But through that, you are also able to learn from your friends. You socialize, you collaborate with your friends. Yeah.
Yeah, so getting there, I have a friend who stays in a single room. So I was hoping to be like my friend, stay in a single room. But unfortunately, I get this common room. But first, I landed in a room where there are only 4. So that was my first place. So I was like, this is better. So I went and joined the 3 who were already in that room. But later on, now the housekeeper comes and tells me, you're not supposed to be here. Then I have to move now to my main room.
Before you proceeded to that room, who told that you are supposed to be there? Did you just move to that room? Or because I think there are laid well procedures. There's a criteria stipulated by the accommodation office that you are supposed to be following before proceeding to a certain room. Because that your story is very funny.
So there is usually for the common rooms, it was A and B.
Oh.
So like room 355 A and B.
Yeah.
So for me, I proceeded to A instead of going to B now.
Okay. So, like Kilimambogo style, kama 28A, 28B.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's how it happened. Now I get to this common room. Then at first it was such a disappointing experience, because I'm here looking forward to stay in a single room.
I
now
know.
I'm like, it's okay, it's fine, let's see how it goes. Fortunately enough, I meet good roommates we started talking, and that's how
Wow.
now we created that relationship.
Aura.
We became good friends. At least we could share one or two things here and there, electronics especially.
Okay.
Yeah, so from there now I decided to at least see what I can do in campus, because mostly it was just going to class, coming back. It's quite boring
It's boring.
because
I
you
know.
have a lot of time
You
on
must-
your side, and then you're
Yeah.
like, what can I do with this time? Some people in the evenings they have to go for, maybe others have some parties to attend to.
Annex.
You're just left there,
Mm.
maybe in your bed just watching a movie. So it gets at some point it gets boring just being idle. And for mostly on my side, I can say I love having myself engaged in something, because when I'm idle too much, I tend to overthink things, and
Yeah, you
yeah,
know, there are
it
some
gets
people
crazy.
when they don't have something to do, they get stressed.
Yeah.
And I think I'm one of them. When I'm just seated in a place, nothing to do, it's like I'm wasting myself.
Yeah, so you find it so depressing being in
Yeah,
one place,
depressed, I
especially
know.
when all your friends have left the room, you're just there alone
You're just
watching.
alone.
So you watch movies and then you sleep, go for supper. So I decided to get something to do. Then I realized some time back I had some skills here and there. I used to help my sister-in-law.
What are the skills?
So I used to plait.
Plate, si ya
Plaiting
sahani.
hair, not ya sahani, kusuka nywele.
Yeah. Huh?
So I remember when I was in my primary, we used to do it na nyasi, grass. We used to plait grasses when we were playing that kalongo.
Then you must be very creative person. You know, when we were in primary school, we used to do weddings. I think I wedded when I was in class 2. Na niliwekewa neti, ile neti ya mbu. I think that's why I'm still single up to date. Well, kumbe sisi tulizafanya harusi.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I was in primary, we used to play a lot. So during that playtime, you have dolls. For us girls, we have dolls, and then you need your doll to be plated. So I was there trying to plait grass here and there, and then if we have dolls, we could plait dolls. So with that, I got to learn some few skills here and there.
Yeah.
So those skills, actually, I can say it was passed down, because I have my mom who knows how to plait. I have my sisters who know how to plait. I even happen to have a sister-in-law who owned a salon. So
Wow.
it became even more interesting.
It's in your blood.
So it's kind of
It's a family thing.
passed down, generation.
So you inherited that from your
I say I inherited from my mom.
From your mom.
Yeah, and
Si
then
lazima you inherit mali. You can inherit a skill.
yeah, you can inherit a skill. You can also have a talent.
Yeah.
So when you have that skill, you just have to put it in practice, mostly by practicing. You have now to engage in it. Doing it more often at least creates that.
You put it into practice.
Yeah, it becomes very easy. So from there, my mom was very supportive when I was young, because she could allow me use her head. So I could take her hair, plait during the day. When she's just sleeping there, maybe it's the afternoon, she's bored, she's
Because
sleeping.
you are the last born.
I'm the last born.
First born angefanya hivyo. Fanye nini?
So I'm the last born. I don't have to wash plates and everything, because I have my sisters doing
You just
that.
plate your mother's
So I
hair.
plait my mother's hair halfway. I'm so tired. I go and play. I leave her hair like that. I'll come and continue even 3 days later. But she doesn't have a problem with that. So from there now I learned the skill. Now when I was around in class 6, I happened to be going to my sisters-in-law's salon. So every now and then I could sneak. I go to my sisters-in-law salon, stay there, because I know she used to give me 20 bob to buy mandazi every evening. So that was what motivated me. So when I reached there in the salon, she's having a customer. I help her with finishing here and there. So with that, I got to learn a skill now, a real skill, from plating my mom to at least a real customer. So every evening she would give me 50 bob as an appreciation for helping her throughout the day. And 50 bob for a child who is in class 6 is so much money, unless I'm a millennial. But that was too much money for me, because I had like mandazi for the whole week. Monday to Friday. Every
one mandazi
day,
was
10,
how much?
10, 10, 10.
10
So
bob.
one mandazi was actually 1 bob. We
One
had
bob.
those small mandazi.
Wait. Ulizaliwa lini
You know,
kwani?
this is Ushago. This is not Nairobi. I'm living in Ushago.
I remember during my times when I was in primary school, mandazi was going at 5 bob shillings, not 1 bob.
So for me, I'm in Ushago, and they make those small mandazi.
Oh, the small ones,
the small
like
ones, yeah. So they sell it at 1 bob.
Oh yeah. That's when I can understand that one.
So that's how I grew my skills, and then now proceeded to high school. High
Wait,
school.
ulisoma wapi?
I started school at Bunyore Girls.
Bunyore Girls.
Yeah,
my cousin was there. She's called
Okay.
Fanny, and now she graduated from Pwani University. She got First class. Fanny, hi. Uh-huh.
Wow, that's amazing. So I was from Bunyore. We used to at least play each other during evening hours,
Oh.
especially on weekends. Yeah. So when coming to campus now, I'm like, now what can I do with this skill that I have?
Na umejipata kwa course yenye aiambatani na chenye unafanya?
My course
Because you have said that
hayusiani na kenye
you are doing
nafanya. I'm doing
education
education, home science and physical education.
and PE.
And
Physical
PE.
education ni PE. Hao ni wenye wanaruka kwa uwanja.
Actually, it's not necessarily kuruka. PE is a very good course. I will advise anyone to take that. So now I'm here in campus. I have the skill. I'm like, what can I do with this skill? Looking around now, that is now how I started to now do some 1 or 2 researches. I go to salons and I ask, how much do you plait this style?
Brilliant.
Okay.
You started visiting the salons.
Yeah, so I go to the salon and I ask, I just make an inquiry, how much do you plait this hair? It's okay. I move to the next salon, I inquire. So I just try to range the prices. Because even me, I know in the next 1 month, I'll be needing a new hairstyle. So I have to make inquiries. But also, another advantage is that I had a sister who lives in Kangemi.
Kangemi, okay.
Yeah, and she owns a salon. So I could also go to a salon and ask her, how much do you plait certain style? So she'll tell me at 500, at 600, at 1,000, 1,500. So after making those inquiries, I realized since one of the things is that I really don't need a much space.
Wow.
I can just use the space in my hostel room. And that is when
you start from where you are.
Yes, that's
don't be ambitious.
That's when I realized actually God blesses you in certain places that
with
you
some
feel
reasons, by the way.
This is not really what I wanted, but that is what he wanted.
Yeah.
The room I was in was very spacious to accommodate a customer. So I'm like, I have a room here. It's very much spacious. My friends are not always around, but I can use the space. So one, I have the space. What resources do I need? Actually, I just need a comb.
Resources. When you want to start an enterprise, the first thing the first thing you did before looking for the resources, I think you have done something called price evaluation.
Yes.
Walking from one shop to another, the salon to another, inquiring the prices they are charging for the plating. I think you are trying to weigh the prices. So you are doing an evaluation.
Yes, I just
then
wanted
after
to know.
that you check the resources. You have said the resources, okay.
So I decided to let me see what do I need. Actually, for you to plait someone, you just need some air oil and your comb. That was much I needed.
Simple.
And that is something I owned. I had when my mom is bringing me to the university, like, you need a comb. You'll be combing your hair. You need
be combing your hair.
Yeah. So it's something that I already have. So then I told myself, now that I have the space, I have the resources that I want, I have to look for the clients. So how do I find the clients now? So I realized there are so many clients now, but the problem is that they do not know you can offer such a service.
They don't have that trust in you because I think you are new to them.
Yeah, you're new to most of them. Actually,
so you are trying to introduce a new brand in the market. Okay.
So if there is anyone who knows you, maybe someone who's schooled with you, that is the only person who you maybe can trust you to some extent. Yeah, but not fully. Yeah. And with campus students, they have different styles. Mostly for the ladies, I'll talk about them. They know this. They have Pinterest, Instagrams. This one is knotless. Inaitwa knotless.
Knotless.
Yeah.
Na Abuja inakonga style gani?
So Abuja is a brand of braids.
Ooh. Scratch that.
So okay. Abuja is a brand of this. So you have different hairstyles. People have different apps that they Google and find hairstyles. So somebody can just come with a photo from Instagram and she wants exactly that hairstyle. One. So you have to keep on practicing, keep on understanding the styles. So
you elevate yourself to another level.
I had to get clients. So the first step I did in getting clients was now to involve my friends in my business. So I decided to use my friends and use my phone to get the clients.
To lure them.
Yeah. So the first thing I was to do was at least get my friends, 2 or 3 of them, plait their hair, take videos, take pictures, post them on my social media accounts. Yeah. On Instagram and also post them on WhatsApp. At least that one now, for those classmates that we had met, it was easy now for them to be like, oh, so you're the one who is doing this.
You started getting an online customers.
Yes.
I think that was, which is what we're Gen Z. In our current regime, we are so much into social media. That's why we need to use these spaces very well to market ourselves.
Yeah.
Like the Facebook, kuna wenye wako Facebook, Instagram, even the Pinterest.
Yeah.
Some are in Quora, some work on our websites. So we should not use these websites or the social media platform handles to abuse people or creating chaos in social media. Thank you so much for amazing job that you are doing. Yeah, we are very, very, very happy for you. And please support us.
I will.
Brilliant, Kalumba. You are doing a very, very nice job. I would like you to tell us how you have benefited from this, your brand.
Yeah. So from the friends I had, they helped me to market my brand now. So I will play them. When they are in their classes, someone makes an inquiry. So most of the time, the customers I gained were from references from my friend. So most of them, my friends introduced me to. Some from church. I serve in the praise and worship team, so I got some from churches. So after that, how I benefited is that this business was really nice. It has been nice because one is that I don't pay rent. Two is that it's more of service providing. So there is no losses, no much losses because it's my time. It's more of my time. So getting to a point whereby I was able to support myself in paying my rent. I was able to pay my rent. Now I moved out from the hostel. I decided to move out to KM. So
Kenyatta
there,
Market.
Kenyatta Market here.
You started looking for new space.
Yeah, I decided to look for a new space. So
Even the life standard, it changes, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because when you started moving
changed.
from hostel to another place, it means that
Yeah,
you are in another level.
Standard. So I could now pay for my rent.
Okay.
I could buy my own food. I really didn't have to make more calls at home to request for money. So I had now to support myself. We are in the praise and worship. We have maybe we have events. I can be able to support myself through those events. You can even get some money to take yourself out on a weekend.
You
feel
treat
like,
yourself.
You treat
Unajipeleka
yourself.
out.
Take yourself out for a coffee, for an ice cream. You go for a picnic.
So you are spoiling yourself.
Yeah, you have to
Didn't
spoil
you have
yourself.
a boyfriend?
No.
Oh, yeah, but I really like that, by the way.
So I decided to spoil myself here and there a bit, get some new clothes for yourself, even projects, running some few projects, class projects. You have maybe you need to get some items. I do home science, so also in the home science department, we had a unit whereby you need to
I
get
think your
materials.
talent is much related to home science.
Yeah, it's much related to home science.
Okay.
So now it helped me a lot. I was able to stabilize my life now.
Wow.
At least here in campus, I didn't have much to struggle. I'm stable, get myself a few things here and there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, because this is a mental health podcast, I would like you to tell us how this your brand has helped you mentally in your campus journey.
So mentally, I think mentally I can say I'm very stable, and I thank God. Basically because sometimes financial when you have a financial crisis,
Constraints.
It can really push you to the end. It can really depress you, put you in a state whereby you keep on thinking.
Yeah.
If you look at our current situation in this Kenya, you'll realize that most of the things needs money to be purchased. Here in the university, you need money to get food. You need money to get clothing. You need money to at least visit a place or two. So when I can associate this with mental health, because it helped me to at least get what I wanted for myself without really straining my parents on that end, or also straining other people. And sometimes you realize that parents maybe are not in that capacity to provide
not in a
the
situation to
luxurious life that you want. Not really the luxurious life, but you need that
comrades
comfort.
life, because we have new styles in town. You need to adapt to the current situation. Maybe your friends are putting on this hairstyle,
changing trends also.
the trends. And TikTok imetopea pressure mingi sana.
Yeah, so you realize with everything that is going on, the parent is able to provide school fees, and that is we are very grateful for that. So they can provide fee and maybe provide food to some extent.
To some extent.
Yeah, but now you have other needs. As an individual, you have other needs that you want to make your life comfortable. So with the little that you have, it cannot fulfill those needs.
Yeah.
Or let's say maybe the wants now. The wants is what makes us to be comfortable.
Wants and needs. We have wants and needs.
So the
needs
needs,
you can't do without.
Yes, those
but
ones
wants
are fully provided by the parent.
by the parents.
But now the wants that you need to make it comfortable for you to have that enjoyable time in the campus, so that you can have even time to tell people stories that campus life is really nice. You need now the wants. So having at least a job that could provide those wants made it very easy for me to concentrate on my schoolwork. Yeah.
Amazing. Wow, your story is just amazing. Have you encountered any challenge?
Yeah, challenges are there.
What are they?
Challenges are there. Life in general has challenges. So the business is nice, that is one. But now there are some challenges, like one, sometimes I ended up missing classes. There are some classes I had to miss because now you have customers in bulk. Someone is like, if you have to play to me today, tomorrow I have an event, or in the afternoon I have an event, and I need to go there looking smart. And then you remember you have a class, then you're like, I also need this money. So you just have to boycott the class.
You boycotted the classes?
You have to boycott the class so that you can fix in the customer. But not always. Now you have to also gauge, like, how far are you with those classes? Is it something that you can catch up to? So I can say one of the challenges was time, especially when now I reached around third year. Third year, I'm committed to the Christian Union. I'm serving as the treasurer to the praise and worship team. I'm also a member there as a praise and worshiper. I'm also having classes. And then I have also to add now the side hustle.
Yes, the hustle is also
so
there.
Most of the time, I can say my biggest challenge has been time. Yeah, time. And also
time
maybe
factor.
You can say some clients are kind of a headache. Yeah, some clients are kind of a headache.
How?
Maybe someone comes, I want this style. Remember, everybody has a different face structure and a head structure. So sometimes you give me a photo, you're like, I want this style. Then I plate that style and it doesn't turn out like the one in the photo. So this client's like, no. I said I wanted this style. Look at what you've done. I'm sorry, but your head structure doesn't suit. Sorry to say, but I used to advise my clients.
Okay.
I'll be like, this style is really nice, but I'm sorry, according to your face structure, this style doesn't suit you. But since it's an influential style, it's something that is trending. It's like, no, I need this style. Whether you like it or not, I need this style. So the moment I am done with the style, you start again complaining that you didn't do a good job. Yeah. I didn't do a good job, but I told you before we started that I'm sorry, this style will not suit you. But since you are so persistent and you want to go with the trend, you insist on doing the style. So it becomes so hard. So some clients can be a bit hard, but you just have to be patient.
Yeah.
Or you can finish a client and she's like, no, you have to remove it. I'm not impressed.
Wow.
You have to remove it. I'm not impressed.
So you're going to redo
So
it.
you have to remove it. Either redo it or the client goes without paying you.
So you run a loss.
You run a loss by having wasted a whole day.
Oh my.
I've been standing a whole day on your head. Then at the end of the day, you're like, no, this style is not good. It's not impressing. So I have to go. So those are some of the challenges. And another one is, I think for someone who is not used to, you tend to, like, since it's more of hand action and you're standing, so it's fatigue. You get fatigued.
Yeah, fatigue.
So at the end of the day, you're so fatigued, you go to bed very late, you're so tired,
exhausted.
and the next day you have also maybe classes or even more clients. Yeah, so it can be challenging, especially when we are like towards the end, closing of the semester. Most people I want to leave Nairobi and I'm looking nice.
Very nice.
So you have booked clients, even to 5 clients in a day, and everybody's like, no, you just have to do it today. So you end up maybe doing 5 clients in a day. You're so exhausted, you finish late.
One client unachukwanga like how many
depending on the style, I can go up to 3 hours.
Oh.
Yeah, 3 hours on one person's head.
It doesn't depend on the shape of the head or the size.
Size, yes. There's some people also who have large volume of hair. Yeah, you have large hair volume. So there, yeah.
Okay.
So mostly it's 2 to 3 hours. 2 to 3 hours on one client.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. So you have told us the challenges that you have faced in your brand, and I would like you to tell us the mitigation measures. Sorry to say measures. I'm a Luo. Measures, mitigation measures that you have set or you have put into place to counterattack the problems that you are facing in your industry or in your brand.
So first,
Like you have talked about the time factor, where you started boycotting some classes, and that was very terrible because that's the main purpose why you are in campus. So when you started boycotting some classes, that one is very, very dangerous. But how have you counterattacked this? Because you have to sit for exams, you have to do cuts in time, we have the projects. Yeah, please share.
so I think the first time boycotting classes was because I really didn't plan well, and I think that one happened mostly when I was in first year. But then from then, I used to get a timetable. I get my class timetable. So when I get my class timetable, I'm going to fix my client basing on that timetable. So you'll find maybe in a day I have 2 to 3 classes. So in the days that I used to have 3 classes, I don't have customers. Those days I don't fix customers. If anyone wants to be plated on that day, I'll be like, no, I'm sorry, but I can't do it today. So I had to learn to say no to some customers. So I used to fix customers during the days that I didn't have much classes. Maybe I have 1 class in the morning, then the remaining part of the day I'm free. That is when I'll fix my customers.
Wow.
Or I have 3 hours during the morning hours, then in the afternoon now I'll have classes. So I'll fix my customer during the morning hours. So I decided to fix my customers according to my timetable. So that one helped me not to miss any class now.
Wow.
Then other customers during the weekends. Now, because weekends are mostly free, so I just plan myself
Especially
well.
on Saturday.
Especially on Saturdays, I plan myself well, then I fix my customers there. So that is one challenge I deal with, time. And then the other challenge of maybe customers not being impressed was always like when I start plaiting your hair, I do a section of it. Then maybe I give you a mirror. You look at it.
Take a look of yourself.
Are you impressed? Maybe even I take a photo of it. I show you. If you're not impressed with it, we deal with it when it's still early. Yeah, so I'll unplate it, and then we redo another style.
Wow.
Then I used to at least have those clients who trusted me so much to the point that I had to advise them on styles. Yeah,
okay.
so I'd be like, no, I'm sorry, but this one, it really won't look that good on you. Let's try this one. And it ended up turning so well, and most of them now,
you are very happy.
Yeah, they liberated that duty of, you pick the style, you do everything. I'll just come and sit there, you do everything on it.
Were you charging an extra?
Not really. I didn't charge an extra for that.
Okay.
Yeah, because I used to value that. You trust me to that point that I can do everything for you. No, I'm not charging extra. That trust is enough for me.
That's how to maintain customers.
Yeah.
So, Kalumba, so far we are continuing so good. I would like you to advise someone who started a business or a brand, an enterprise. This person could be a student, not only a student, but even somebody who graduated sometimes back, somebody who started a business long time ago, but they are facing many challenges and they are struggling inside the business industry with their brands, their advices, or what you unaweza waambia nini?
So there are different business. That is one. Maybe you started and ended up, maybe it failed. Maybe you got tired of it. But what I'll tell that person is being consistent.
Consistent, okay.
You have to be consistent and very patient. One thing about business is that it can either bloom or die. So you have to be very patient with it. You have to do, like, just take it as it comes.
The time factor.
Then don't like put like, you're like, this one has to produce. This one has to produce.
Being
like,
of ambitious.
Yeah. You have to know that every business has a risk. Even me, at some point I was like, I'm just going to leave this business because people are really frustrating. You can reach a point you're very frustrated. You have projects piled, you have classwork piled, and you still have customers piled. So you're like, how can I juggle between all these? I need to juggle between all these. And then you're like, I can just leave this business, but also you remember this is what is sustaining you at some point. So you just have to be very patient and be ready for anything. Be ready for anything. There are always risks in starting a business. You might even have started a business of selling clothes. You've invested all your money. Maybe your help money, all of it has gone into restocking that business, but it doesn't turn out to be okay. Just be patient with it. Do it slowly by slowly. Then use social media, use your friends, use the people you know. Those are the people who will really support you. If you have your social media accounts, open Instagram pages, Facebook pages, WhatsApp, post them on your status.
Share
That is
with your
one way
friends.
of now getting those customers, because maybe the business is failing because you don't have customers. Be open to advices from other people who are in the same industry as you are. For me, I was open to my sister's advice. She will always tell me, do this, do this, do this. Sometimes I will complain to her how customers are so frustrating. She'll be like, yeah, that's how they are. But you have to do this and do this. So you have to be open to people who are in the same business as you are. Maybe you have, you're running a shop, you're selling maybe some clothes. Get those people who are selling clothes, visit them and ask them, how do you people manage to sell clothes? They will tell you of how they subsidize their prices. So you have to also be very wise when it comes to pricing. Like when I went to look for prices around my area, I realized they are a bit too high. So I decided to do it half or three quarter, so that way you get customers easily. So don't be a person who wants to double the profit from the first sale. At least the first sale, make it more of getting clients. Then from there, when it picks up now, you can raise the prices. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kalumba, and we are very happy for accepting our invite. And before we end up or we get into the conclusion of this podcast, I would like you to tell my audience something, the closing remarks. Yeah.
My parting shot will be like, seek God first. Seek God first. Keep God in everything that you're doing. Put Him first in everything that you're doing, because He's the only one who will guide your steps. So you're putting God first, and then give Him that idea that you have, that you want to implement. And then from there, do research. Try to find out. Don't just be quick to introduce a business. Oh, I've seen this one is no. Try finding out, really, is this business going to help me? What are the risks in engaging in this business? What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? Then from there, now try even making inquiries from different people. Then slowly by slowly introduce it, and then pick it, manage it, and then develop it to a more business. So invest from there. At least when you have that business, don't be more of eating the stock and forgetting that the business also needs to be restocked. You might find that the first time you'll do a very big sell, and then you forget that you also need to restock first. Separate your money, the profit that you've made from the stocking money, slowly by slowly, until all will be well. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kalumba, for joining us on Sadiest Experience. We are looking forward to host. Yeah, thank you so much for coming. And before we get into conclusion, I would like to acknowledge those people who are working behind the scene to ensure that this show or podcast is a success. We have Fadili, Timothy Fadili, we have Joe, and we have Kevin Arts. Thank you so much. Ensure that you subscribe, you like, and you share. Let's meet next time.